How's it going, guys? So, I wanted to bring you guys an honest review of several products. As someone who's been solo camping, boondocking, and just overall camping, I guess, there's definitely a lot of confusion around battery packs. When I first started, I thought I needed something huge, something that's gonna last. Although I do love this and I think it is an essential for certain reasons, you don't necessarily need it in the beginning. So what I'm going to kind of walk you guys through is what batteries you need for what situations, and basically which ones are essential, which ones you can kind of pass on, and just try to save you guys some money and prevent you from possibly buying something that you might not even need. So I'm going to take you through these and let you decide what you're going to use them and need them for. What I will give you is something to compare them with. Here I have, let's see, I believe it is 10,000 milliamp small battery pack. Now I'm starting with the smallest because I think these are essential. If you're someone who's going to go camping for a day or two, you're probably just fine with these and you might not even need it. Realistically speaking, if you're out camping, you're probably not going to have reception anyway, right? More than likely, you're not going to have to be on your phone. If you do, however, need let's say your phone for recording. So I myself record videos. If you check out the rest of the channel, you'll be able to see. So most of the time, if I go out for 1 or 2 days, I am actually completely fine with this one. Personally, I like to have more than I need, so I have two. This is a 20,000 milliamp battery. If you're like me and you're using equipment, most of the time it's just your cell phone. So with that being said, I can generally use this one battery pack and you don't need to spend more than $25 to $30 for something that's going to do a fantastic job. As far as these small 10,000 milliamp batteries go, I think they're essential. Maybe you're not even necessarily going camping, but you're just traveling, you need it on the plane, you need it on the train, you need it in your car, whatever. It's handy. It fits in your back pocket. As far as the 20,000 milliamp battery, if you're doing something a little bit heavier, it's no problem. You can definitely fit this in your backpack. I say it probably weighs as much as a water bottle to give you an idea. For most of you, these are going to be pretty self-explanatory, You need them. They're essential. So moving on to the larger ones. Let's go and get this one out of the way so that we can talk about the essential one. Now, as far as Jackeries go, I think they're great. So for me, it's a good investment because sometimes I go on week-long trips. And if I wasn't recording, if I wasn't using extra lights and things like that, I think you can survive without this. In all honesty, and maybe this is just my personal opinion, because when I was on here looking for different batteries to purchase for my hiking, camping, solo, boondocking, all of that, I feel like I was a little misguided, and everyone is trying to get you to buy a Jackery or some kind of solar power thing. And I have nothing bad to say about those battery banks and solar panels, but I think that 99% of the time you actually don't need those. Like, unless you're living out of the car, you don't need them. If you're doing month-long excursions, then by all means I think that yes, they are essential. But for the most part, you don't need them. I tend to use this when it's maybe about a week, and that's again to charge my cell phone, my iPad usually, because I'm watching movies on it, and that's generally tends to take most of the battery out of here, and that's just me watching something at night. And I think most of you, if you're going camping, you're not. A few other things about the Jackery, I guess, is yes, they are solar panel compatible. Fantastic. It's got a standard plug-in, two USB plug-ins, and then here is where you actually plug in your solar power. Now, when you buy one of these smaller ones, which I think most people should if you need something larger without going really big and spending the big bucks, because like I said, unless you're living in the car, you're not going to need them. So the Explorer series comes as is. I don't like to have this giant port open, so I went on Amazon and I ordered a cigarette light cover for a car, and obviously it's the same size because this is in fact a cigarette lighter input. So I just thought it was kind of nice. This one says fire missile. It's not necessary. Like I said, I don't like to have a big gaping hole there. So for the most part, Fantastic product. Most of you won't need this, so don't feel pressured to buy one just because you're solo camping or boondocking. If you have somewhere to go home to or somewhere where you can recharge your batteries, don't invest. But to give you guys an idea, this I got at Harbor Freights. It was on special. I believe it was about $100 cheaper. So the price that was listed was $249.99. Now with taxes, I believe it comes out to over $300. Some of the larger ones can range up to $1,000, $2,500, and even I believe $3,500 with the solar panels. But that's a conversation for another day when you're doing van life. I wouldn't say it's necessarily essential, but it's nice to have. And I'll give you an example of why. About 2 weeks ago, when we were having these weird showers here in California, we had a power line go down and it blacked out the entire neighborhood. So what I did was I took the Jackery, I brought it in the house, and I plugged in my wireless internet router into it and my TV. So I was able to comfortably chill watching TV and browsing on my phone using the internet for many hours. Now the TV, I only had it on for a short time, but I was able to power my internet for countless hours. Honestly, I could say it was probably on 4 or 5 hours while I was awake, and I had it on the rest of the night because I didn't know if the rest of the house was going to use it. It definitely has its purpose and its conveniences, but as I said, not an essential, so let's move on. This, however, I believe is essential when you're traveling in your car, whether you're doing solo camping or just going on a small trip. So originally I got this when I was going to Baja California, maybe 3 or 4 times out of the month, hanging out. I'll show you why. So this itself holds 1000 amps of power. You can charge your phones, you can charge anything. It has a built-in flashlight, but not necessarily the brightest. Nonetheless, let me show you why I think this is an essential. This has a port here where, stay with me, you can plug in jumper cables for your car. You know, how many times have you been stuck somewhere trying to get a jump and either people are busy, rude, or just on the move, and it just seems impossible to get a jump? Or not even that, I've been in situations where I'm parked between 2 cars and the battery of the car that's trying to give me the jump is opposite of mine. So what does that do? Either your cables can't reach or the car just can't get to the place where it needs to give you a jump. This is extremely stress inducing. More so if that's not the situation, but you're just stuck up in the mountains somewhere. You could be camping, hiking, you accidentally leave your lights on, and you're absolutely screwed if you're stuck out there at the wrong time of the day. Just with these alone, I think that this is definitely a must-have. The case itself was, I believe, an additional $20 on Amazon. The battery is $99.99, also on Amazon. So by the time this is up, I'll try and post the links below to all of these actually. In conclusion, 10,000 milliamp battery, essential. Fits in your pocket, purse, backpack, recharges your phone. Even if you're doing some light recording like I do, I tend to take this in my backpack, and if I need to, I just run a long wire from my backpack to my phone without skipping a beat. The 20,000 milliamp, not necessarily essential, but handy. If you're doing some kind of recording or using some kind of equipment, this not only has the power to charge your phone, but it has a dual output. If you can see here, it's got a charging port and dual output. One of them can charge your phone and the other one has enough strength to charge something like a laptop, an iPad. Again, it's really nice and nifty. I wouldn't call that essential. Jackery, beautifully designed, extremely helpful. On anything longer than a 3 to 4 day camp out, nice to have. Is it essential? No, but it is nice to have. So for the average person, I would say these two, not essential. Now, moving on to, again, the last one, I would say is extremely essential. Because if you can carry this, you can pretty much leave these two at home realistically. It's got enough power to charge your phone up countless times. Also, jumpstart your car and give you light whenever you need it. Huh. The SOS Light. Who doesn't need one of those, right? Let's say you're stuck on the side of the road or you're trying to signal a plane because you're stuck somewhere. Once again, guys, just to reiterate, Out of all of these, for your average person, essential. For your average traveler, must have. So save yourself a couple bucks and go straight for something that's gonna serve not just one, but multiple purposes. Go get this one. So again, I think I mentioned the price for all of them, but just to reiterate, you can get these for as low as probably $20. This one you're probably looking to spend $25 to $30. The Jackery, they usually start at about $250, I want to say, and can go up to $3,500. Now this being one of the smaller units, ended up costing me probably around $3 to $350. This one here for $99.99 plus $20 for the case, which I think is more than fair. I would say the choice is easy. Don't overthink it. Invest in something that's gonna potentially save your life in a sticky situation. Just splurge on yourself. You know, it's not like you're splurging for a Jackery, which isn't necessarily needed, but you're splurging on something that's really essential. And from someone that's been doing the whole camping in different forms, let me tell you that you should definitely just get that one. Noco Boost Plus. Now, up until recently, with my experiences, I thought that it could only jump the car if it had a relatively small amount of charge to it. And so after talking with someone from the company, they showed me that by pressing the override button here, you can actually boost a car from a completely dead state. So, I mean, I don't know how many of you have been stuck out there with no battery and no help, but the ones that have will absolutely understand why you need this battery pack. You can charge your phones from it just as good as these other ones. But let me tell you, none of these will be able to do what this one does. Sorry to drag on again. In conclusion, once more, buy yourself the Noco, save yourself a headache. I hope you enjoyed this honest and quick review of multiple types of battery packs and going on the journey to see which one is most essential and useful for your needs. Let me know what you guys think. Remember to like and subscribe and come back for my weekly videos. Most of the time we do solo camping, boondocking, and exploring in general. Last week we went ghost hunting, which happened to be a coincidence, but come back for that and a few more reviews. And remember, stay wild.